I do like to instigate.
He is the biggest devil's advocate you could ever think of. Like instigator, devil's advocate. That is Juan's purpose in life.
Like
Juan's purpose is to just make people pissed
Like
off.
you're not even his advocate anymore. It's like
I
he
solemnly swear
pays
that
your
I'm up to no
bills
good.
at this point.
1000%.
I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good.
Yes.
That was
I love that.
such a ew. You're such a millennial. Like
I like it. I like the.
sometimes
the
I
Harry Potter
forget
series.
like how like sometimes I just forget that you are just such a millennial.
I know. Yeah, I'm like prime. I'm like
He
prime
is
time.
30
I'm like
years
92.
old, though.
That's when I was born.
That's cray.
Yeah.
Come
Like
on,
you
90s
reach
babies.
that like.
Hey, I've been meeting.
Speaking of millennials, did you guys see that Disney adults thing that was trending?
What?
That was well.
I don't want to know anything about Disney adults.
Look, so this couple is getting married, and they describe it as their dream wedding, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's the dream wedding or whatever," right? And obviously, they start talking about how like their parents helped them pay for the wedding and this and that, and blah blah blah, and the third. So the controversy started when this millennial couple revolves their life to some degree or another around Disney, like going to Disney World, going to Disneyland, experiencing all the Disney shit, like blah blah blah. Which, to be fair, that's like the people be doing that shit, like,
Yeah,
and it's not just a millennial thing. Like boomers
No.
do it.
Disney
You know what I mean?
adults are a thing.
Yeah, like that's a whole cult
have
in and
been
of
a
itself,
thing.
right?
It is a whole
so
cult.
I'm like, all right, whatever,
1000%.
whatever, right? So they paid money for like Mickey and Minnie to show up at their wedding and like
You're
make like
fucking
appearances
kidding me.
and shit. Apparently it was a fuck ton of money because it was like legit Mickey and Minnie. It wasn't like
from the
it,
parks.
It wasn't like fucking like Dio Fidencio with like a mouse like,
Like
with,
they got
with
their
like a
fucking
Chuck E. Cheese
things.
suit and like, you know what I mean, showing up. You know, it was like a legit Mickey and Minnie going through the Disney services to some, I don't know, something like that, right? And in order to have the Mickey and Minnie, they cut the food from the ceremony. So like they weren't gonna
From the reception?
from the reception. They cut the food. So like if you want to eat, you have to pay. And so they weren't feeding their guests. It wasn't like part of like how you usually go and you get like a plate or whatever. And to their credit, it was advertised as such. Like they said, like, we're not gonna have food. You're gonna have to pay whatever there. And like, so there was this huge uproar on Twitter about the fact that like, how dare they cut the food? Like, if I'm gonna show up to a wedding and I'm not gonna be fed, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? For some Mickey and Minnie, like, what is going on? And like, so they were like trashing these like Disney adults and like how ridiculous they are just to get like their Disney fix or whatever. And people were going off.
I mean, okay, first of all, food expensive too, and
Well, they're gonna overcharge you for everything at a wedding.
Yeah,
So,
Everything
you know what I mean?
is expensive at a wedding. But
Yeah.
if you would rather pay 2 adults inside a costume to show up at your wedding as opposed to food for like 100 people?
facts.
And it was like that toxic tia that said something. They're like, I can't believe y'all ain't gonna, like, y'all aren't feeding us. You know what I mean? Like, everybody was cool except for this one tia.
And all of a sudden,
I am
it
that
just popped
tia.
up.
You know what I mean?
I would have been like,
But
cool,
then-
I'm not coming to your fucking wedding.
but
Number
then-
one, what are we your fucking wedding if I'm going to see Mickey and Minnie?
But then again, who's the wedding for?
True.
Is the wedding for the people that are
Right,
watching?
on one
Or is-
side, I'm
or
like,
is
I
the
mean,
wedding for the
listen,
people-
you can do whatever it's your wedding day. You
Right,
can
right.
literally do whatever you want. You can have the most outrageous shit. But if you do some like silly ass shit like that, I'm roast you for it. What do you mean you
Like,
paid
I'm roasted.
thousands of dollars for people in costumes to come into your fucking wedding?
It was legit thousands of dollars. It was like,
I know,
like
because
2,
that's
3
how
grand.
much fucking, like, I can't imagine how much, if you had to cut the food, like, not get, like, cheaper catering, you know what I mean? Not lower your food budget. You had to cut the food for however many
Not
guests
even,
you
like,
had
get-
in your wedding.
Not even get your uncles to barbecue for everybody. Like, not
Dead
even,
ass, like,
not even.
Not even like cut down on like flowers, which are expensive as shit,
are.
or like, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't adjust your budget to like be able to have this. It's like that. Like, I can't even imagine how fucking expensive for two adults in costume.
And they were
true.
only there for like an hour.
Right?
An hour.
Yes. It's expensive. Honestly, an hour is a long fucking time. I thought you were going to be like, they were there for like 45 minutes.
No.
Why?
They were there for an hour.
The caucasity. Why? Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense now.
That's where I'm like, you know what? I don't feel bad for y'all for getting roasted because something is not right up there.
Roasted. Well, it was like obvious, like always, there's always like two camps, right? And camp number one was like, how dare you take out the food? I'm not showing up to your wedding, that the caucasity. And then the other side, was like, bro, it's their wedding. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Like, celebrate it however you want.
I get both of them though, because it's like you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to your fucking wedding. Like,
and that was
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, but you can do whatever you want. But also, like, it is a little bit because who are you doing that for? You know what I mean? Like, you could have gone to Disney and see him.
You could have gotten married at Disney.
Like, that's not. You could have gotten married at Disney.
Wait. They weren't married at Disney?
No.
This was like a wedding reception.
They hired
now that's the dumbest motherfucking thing I ever did heard in my life. Because if it would have made more sense to me if they were having a Disney wedding and they had Disney characters pop up in and out of their wedding, because it'd be like,
it
was just two adults that were Disney adults having a wedding.
That's ridiculous.
But also,
I would have much rather have my wedding. The point
of a wedding, which I know that like weddings have become so ridiculous, so insane, like of an event. But even in that, like, the point of a wedding is like you're celebrating like this like decision that you and your partner are doing with the people that you're inviting.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, why are you making the people that you're inviting being like, I want to celebrate this with you. I want you guys to be witnesses and like be a part of this. Why are you making it seem like they're doing you a favor or something? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like this. Number one, this shouldn't be like about obligations, you know, like now they're going to be there for hours and you're not going to feed them. Then what is this about? Yeah. Then what are you having a fucking wedding for? What is the point of you having Mickey and Minnie? What is the fucking point?
I went back and forth because a part of me was like, okay, there's a little bit of a rationale. Like, if you are going to invite people, it doesn't matter if it's a small gathering or if it's a huge gathering, right? Part of your responsibility at that point is like going to be to provide some sort of
appetizers
for the entire time to be entertaining. Mm-hmm. Like, you're going to watch, you're going to do the whole ceremony, father-daughter dance and whatever the hell, like todo el pedo. And like, I can understand how, like, to some degree, like, yes, it's your wedding, but you also have to, you now bear a responsibility to host everybody.
Your wedding is a ceremony, and if you didn't want to have to do the like hosting part, then don't have a reception. Right. You could have just had a ceremony
and had Minnie and Mickey officiate something.
The reception is literally you just throwing a party, babe. Right, like that's it.
But on the other hand, there's some other people that be doing some dumbass, stupid ass shit that has nothing to do with Disney, that I'm just like, yo, if that can happen, then I guess technically
but
this can happen. But
also, what other things? Because I feel like anything else I think about...
I immediately thought about, like, remember, like, that MTV My Sweet 16 or, like, my... You know what I mean? Where it was, like, the most fucking ridiculous, like,
but
fucking...
here's the fucking kicker with that.
15 Bridezillas or whatever the fuck it was.
Is that the guests fucking benefited from that. You know what I mean? Like, when, like...
That's true.
Quiero Mi 15 or like My Sweet 16 had like it's like they spent thousands of dollars on like a performer. The people invited got to see the fucking performer.
Yeah, I guess so.
Nobody at your wedding is excited to see Mickey and Minnie. Nobody cares.
Your wedding is excited.
Unless it's a Disney family, maybe. I don't know.
Even then, I would be like, girl, I can go to Disneyland anytime. I would have loved to have a meal. Because I've been here since 2 p.m.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm starving.
You ain't got no bacon?
Like, you couldn't even pass around like pigs in a blanket, bitch? You can buy them at H-E-B. What do you mean?
Facts, though.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and those people didn't stop feeding their fucking guests in order to, like... If you have to stop feeding your guests to get Mickey and Minnie, then maybe you can afford it, and that's okay.
What is it about food that makes everybody so like? Because if I went to a wedding and you didn't feed me, I'd be like, all right, I'll just eat. I'll just pick up something on the way home.
I think specifically for a wedding, again, like you're there for hours, dude. Like you're there for fucking hours.
Yeah. But I mean, I've also like not eaten for hours.
Like, I mean, yeah, but I don't want to do it on purpose. Like, You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, sometimes
shit.
I've been busy doing shit and I haven't eaten for like a prolonged amount of time.
There was a
but I'm sure I would have liked to.